All right, Pedro, what you getting done today, man?
Trying to get a low fade, but kind of like a crop top,
Okay.
and fade the beard.
Okay. So low fade, kind of like a crop a little bit.
Yeah, and fade
All right,
the
fade
beard.
the beard in. All right, bro. This is a major transformation.
Yeah.
When's the last time you cut the top?
Been like 4 years.
4 years?
4 years.
Oh man, this gonna be epic.
2 months for this.
2 months?
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go. Man, I need to know what y'all think about the new intro. I think it's the best one yet. But guys, look at his hair. Look at his hair. That's 4 years of hair growth that we're gonna chop off. And we're gonna start off by pulling the hair all the way back and just cutting it off. And then I'm gonna lift the hair up and cut it straight across. It's sloppy, but by doing this, you kind of layer the hair. And so you'll have like, you know, less length on top. Especially around the fringe area. So then it makes it easier to section off from the round of the head and the sides. So we can section off the top. And since I already have the top, I went ahead and trimmed it even shorter. Because remember, he's going to go ahead and do a crop. And this is just a quick way to remove bulk and give us a good canvas once we chop down the sides with this number 4 guard. And I went with the grain first because when you go with the grain, it leaves bulk, right? It gives you some hair to kind of play with and be able to leave as much bulk as you want to leave. Because remember, he wanted kind of like a lower fade into the crop. But most of the time, it's, you know, most crops are like mid to high fades. He's gonna do a lower fade. So, you know, I didn't want to cut too much of the bulk around the round of the head. And we're using a number 4 with the grain and then against the grain to go ahead and debulk everything. It's crazy, man, because during the consultation, when he showed me that photo, I was paying attention to his haircut. I didn't really look at the person's face, but I thought that was him. And he had told me that he usually cuts his own hair. So I was like, damn, you do a low fade on yourself? It was hilarious, but that wasn't him. All right, so here I'm just doing a little bit of clip over comb just to kind of connect it a little bit better. And now we have a great foundation for our cut. So I want to keep this fade a little bit lower. So I'm going to go with that 1.5 guard. Because from a 1.5 guard, you can fade down or up and know that you're just fading into a 1.5, because that's the area that needs to be spread out the most and the most gradient. So from the 1.5 down, it's very important. So I went ahead and did the 1.5 guard. Then I'll blend that 1.5 guard into the rest of the sides. Okay. And then we can move on to go ahead and focus on keeping that low fade pretty low. So this is my first time cutting his hair, just like most of my models or my clients. I should say models. But he drove from Lakeland, probably like an hour drive. So much appreciated. You know, I appreciate all my models, but I think this is the first model I've had in a while that is nearby. I say nearby, but that's an hour. Yo, I swear the last like 10 in a row were from out of state, which, man, that means the world, because it is hard to find models. I got clients for days, but I can't find no new models. All right, so anyways, we are now blending the 1.5 guard into the top. And so we use our number 3 guard to debulk beneath where we left off with that number 4, then a number 2 underneath that 3, and then the 1.5 guard, just to really kind of finalize the blend and bring everything together. And I'm so happy I finally got the color. I finally figured out how to turn off HDR on my camera. And so now you got a good picture and we don't have to do so much color correction anymore. But this is going to be a hell of a transformation. Keep in mind what it looked like before. Alright, so remember, I'm focusing on the blend from the 1.5 to the top. That's what I'm focused on right now. So I need that to be nice. I need that to be gradient before we start focusing on balding it out. So now we're at a pretty decent place. I didn't want to spend too much time because we're going to detail later anyways. So I'm going to start my initial guideline, and I never really like to go too high above the ear with a low fade because then you'll end up really chasing that line to blend it out. And then now what I did too was go ahead and do the kind of like a rough draft of a C cup. That way I can gauge that, keep it dark, because if you don't have a dark enough C cup, a low fade can look a lot higher. Alright, so we're going to follow it up with the shaver. These are the FX3 Babyless shavers, which are now not out yet, and these things deserve a review on their own because they fire. Alright, so now we're using the seniors, the blade all the way open, and we're going up about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You know, the more compressed you want it, obviously, the less, you know, you don't want to go all the way up to 1 inch. Focus on more so a 1/2 inch. But if you want more of a gradient lower fade, you can go up about 1 inch. So once you've done that, you'll go ahead and start to fade it out. You could blend this out going down, you could blend this out going up, and pretty much you just kind of close or open your lever about 1/4 of the way each time you go up or you go down. Can't take that very bottom line out, that's fine. Just follow it up, have no fear, and follow it up with that trimmer that you use to put the line in. Alright, so we went close, now 1/4 of the way, then about halfway, and by the time you're halfway open, you should be almost blended. Alright, so this step I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. Because we had a 1.5 guard in this area, I went to the clipper, the number 1, closed, and then we'll open it up little by little until we've blended into that 1.5 guard. So at this point we're all the way open, and you can see it's really starting to blend into this space. See that? Okay, and so once you've completed this this part of the fade, the last step is that 1/2 guard. That 1/2 guard is going to bring everything together. You can see a subtle line where I'm working right now. That's what I'm focused on. So I like to start off with the 1/2 guard about halfway open, and then close it little by little until that line is blended out. And look at how that thing looking blurry now. It's coming together. Now mind you, this is before we start to detail, but it's not bad for a rough draft. And I'm not gonna lie, right there in the corner I brought it up a little bit too much with that 1/2 guard, so I'm kind of trying to fix it a little bit because I did create a little bit of a line, and it sucks because I want to keep that C cup as dark as possible. But you know, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth when I make a mistake. So anyways, we're now working with that 1/2 guard, and if the 1/2 guard all the way closed towards the back doesn't take the line out like it does on the side, that's all right. Take the 1/2 guard off once you get to where the line is, and take it out with the blade open, which is what you use to create it. That's okay to do, guys. You know, sometimes we get so stuck with our steps that we just go over the same spot over and over and over again, and it's not working. You got to make adjustments during the cut, and that's on anyone because everybody's hair texture is different all over their head. You know what I mean? All right, so we're doing the same steps on this side. I'm going to shut up for a second and let you guys follow along with the color guide on the bottom left corner. funny thing, man, I actually told my client this as I was fading his hair, and I said, man, you know, I messed up a little bit, bro, because your hair was so long, and it's been a while since you've brushed your hair forward, because obviously it's long. You've been pulling it back, putting it in a bun or whatever you do, you know, however you style your hair, but you don't, obviously you weren't styling it forward. So your hair was so used to going back that I was kind of blending against the way the hair has been trained the last 4 years. So one thing I wish I would have done was wash his hair, shampoo, blow dry. That way we can start with a fresh canvas. If I could do it all over again, that's what I would have done. So I definitely wanted to give you guys that insight. All right, so now we're going ahead and we're starting to create the fringe here. This is the length that he wanted after consulting with him. I didn't ask him in the beginning of the cut, but what I did was I turned him around and I asked him where he wanted the fringe to end, and this is what he asked for. So what I did was I took small sections, little by little, to go ahead and frame the front here. And now we got to connect the fringe and the sides with the round of the head. So we're taking sections, doing block graduation to connect it to the side. All right, here's another section, and again, connecting it to the side. You're gonna do this all the way around. And your finishing cut should go right into your fringe. Boom. All right, so notice that I connected the round of the head first, and now we're gonna go ahead and cut the top, keeping everything squared section by section, using the previous cut as a guide and cutting everything straight across. All right, so he wanted to keep it dark but fade it in. So we're gonna go ahead and fade it in. I use my number 3 to clear the bulk there, and then a number 2, 1.5 guard, just like you're doing a fade, except you're going the opposite direction. You're going from bottom. You're going descending order. All right, so we got the number 1 guard, now the half guard, then the blade open, close it little by little, and then the trimmer should finish it all off. All right, here's the trimmer. And now let's go ahead and create this outline. And you can see my Babyliss custom FXs with the Rose FX trimmers are hitting. All right, so here I switched trimmers. I went with the Evos, the Gamma Evos, because your boy S Craft has been trying them out with Andis T outliner blades. I ain't gonna lie, them things, they were crunching. I ain't gonna lie. All right, same thing on this side, guys. Follow up with the shaver. He wanted to keep the mustache pretty natural but groomed. And now we gotta get it crispy with this razor. This razor is really gonna bring the cut together. So we applied a little bit of shave gel. Alright guys, so we're going to style it with the Tomb 45 Pure Powder, which are back in stock. If you want to go to tomb45.com and order yours, go ahead and style it. And now we're going to use Tomb 45 No Drip with the XL compressor. Look, I'm just lightly spraying. I want it to look kind of natural, to kind of look good with the look that he has. Guys, look at the before, man. This is crazy. And look at the after. Guys, if you're new to my channel, I drop daily content, tutorials, vlogs, unboxings, all kinds of content that has to do with the barber industry and entrepreneurship within the industry. Guys, the last video I dropped was with a millionaire barber, Pacino's, and it's got less than 3,000 views. Go check it out. Let's grow as an industry. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.